All right. It is time to start ranking every first baseman on a tier list from elite all the way down to the bottom tier, which is he's starting. You guys saw my catcher video last week where I ranked every single catcher. We're going to be going through every single position. So make sure to drop a like on this video if you want to see more of the tier list content, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on the content that is coming at you. Also, get in the comment section down below. Let me know who you agree with or disagree with on my rankings. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. All right, so first off, we have Andrew Vaughn. And Andrew Vaughn is just not that good of a player anymore. And when we're looking at first base, defense not incredibly important, but you really want someone who's going to be a plus hitter at the plate, whether they get on base, they have power. Andrew Vaughn doesn't really do any of that, and he's really only starting because he's on the White Sox. Now, he's not really a bad player. I don't think Andrew Vaughn is terrible. I don't know if he goes in the he's starting tier, but also I think he does. It's just how long are we going to see Andrew Vaughn just be a mediocre hitter at a position where you just need to get more offensive value? I think he's got a negative WAR this year. He's starting. As for Bryce Harper, I mean, this one is one of the easier ones. He is clearly going to be in the elite category. Making the switch from the outfield to first base really hasn't slowed him down much. It's just going to make it harder for him to win an MVP, but he's having MVP type numbers at the plate this year. A 900 OPS. He's hitting, of course, like he always does, 281, 371, 524 slash line, 26 homers, 34 doubles, 76 RBIs. There's pretty much nothing Harper can't do. He's been great, and he's even had cold stretches throughout this year where he's been terrible. So these numbers are fantastic. He is clearly one of the best first basemen in the game, easily going in elite. I feel like Carlos Santana is the epitome of the good baseball man tier. This dude gets on base. He's done it for what? 15, 16 seasons now. On base, enough pop in his back, good first baseman. The list goes on and on. I mean, even this year, he's got a WAR close to 2. He's a 2-win player at the first base position, 18 home runs, 24 doubles, 60 RBIs, a 741 OPS. None of these numbers are jumping off the page to you, but for a player that plays every single day, gets on base like he does, definition of a good baseball man at the first base position. Absolutely love Christian Walker. Criminally underrated. University of South Carolina Gamecocks, so of course, huge fan of his. And he is a really good player. Defensively, amazing with the glove at first base. Now again, I'm not going to value first base defense probably as much as most of you. I still think it's important, but it's not going to necessarily be the difference maker between a Christian Walker and a Bryce Harper. Like, Bryce Harper is still clearly better, and he doesn't play nearly as good defense at first base. That being said, Christian Walker also does swing a phenomenal bat. For those reasons, I am going to keep him out of elite, though. I'm going to put him in all-star. He just isn't the same level, I think, right now as the guys in elite, but he is clearly that next tier of really, really good first baseman, criminally underrated because of where he plays and the position and everything. Christian Walker's a stud, though. The numbers are great. Another guy with an 800 OPS this year. And again, fantastic defense. Just doesn't really matter at first. And yes, the tier list did just get smaller. I realized the formatting on my laptop, not the same as my computer, so I had to make it smaller. DJ LeMahieu. I mean, this one is clear and obvious. He's starting. This dude is so toast. He's dead. I don't think he has a home run still on the year. Apologies. DJ LeMahieu has 2 home runs and 5 doubles this year in 66 games. I mean, he has a 525 OPS. The numbers are atrocious. This was one of the worst contracts that the Yankees have given out in a long time, and I said it when they signed him. I said, I don't think you should have signed this guy. He's going to age like milk. His skill set doesn't really make sense as you get older and older, and we saw the decline, and here it is. But yet Aaron Boone is still playing this guy consistently, playing him as much as it feels like they can. I don't know how you can keep throwing DJ LeMahieu in the lineup. I know Ben Rice is out there. I know Anthony Rizzo's on his way back. I could rank those guys, but Rice, it's not fair to judge him right now based on what we've seen, and Rizzo hasn't really played this year. So DJ LeMahieu, he's starting, not very good. No. Freddie Freeman, I mean, we could just drag him right up to elite. Everybody knows Freddie Freeman is disgustingly good. He just does it year in and year out. He hasn't slowed down one bit. The numbers are continuing to be phenomenal because that's just exactly what Freddie Freeman does. While the home run numbers are down maybe a little bit this year, 19 home runs, 31 doubles, 78 RBIs, 285 average, 381 on base, 484 slugging, and an 864 OPS for an OPS plus at 144. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best first basemen I've seen play in my lifetime, and that says a lot because there's actually been a lot of really good first basemen, but Freddie Freeman is the cream of the crop. He's obviously up there. Jake Berger had an insane start to the second half of the season with the Marlins, was going crazy, hitting so many home runs at one point. He is a very good baseball player. I'm going to put him in the good baseball man tier. Again, he is probably a slightly better than league average hitter with being pretty atrocious in the field, not much of an athlete over in the field with the glove. That's why you put him at first base, but he absolutely mashes. Barrel king, hits the ball hard consistently. He's going to go up there and take some daddy hacks, and that's why he's got 25 home runs with the Marlins in a lineup that has 0 protection and 0 guys that get on in front of him. If you put him on a winning baseball team, I'd love to see what Jake Berger could do. I know he helped out the Marlins last year in their postseason stretch, but if you got him in a competitive lineup where you didn't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting, I'd be interested to see how good Jake Berger can be because he has the ability to be an even better first baseman than he's shown this far. It's just right now, good baseball man tier. At first base for the Padres, I'm going with Jake Cronenworth. Luis Ariz will be ranked. I'm probably going to put him in the DH video, maybe second base. He's just kind of all over the place, doesn't really play the field. So we're going to rank Cronenworth Cronenworth here, and Cronenworth is going to go in the good baseball man tier. Similarly to these guys, just a solid player, a little bit better than league average at the plate, good at first base, good athlete, does a lot of things that you want on your team. Again, you don't want him to be hitting in the middle of your lineup. He's got like 15 homers, 25 doubles, 740 OPS. Don't want him to be one of your better hitters, but for sure love to have him lengthen out a lineup, make a team look deeper. And Cronenworth is a good baseball player. I just don't think he is going to be in that all-star tier. He's not like Christian Walker, and he's definitely not an average player. He is pretty good at first base. Nice pickup for the Padres a few years ago from the Rays for a guy who you never really heard of at the point. Oh man, this one pains me, but I gotta put Joey Gallo in the he's starting tier. He's been really bad again, and maybe Joey Gallo's bad. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he was a little bit of a flash in the pan. The three true outcomes seem to be hurting him because he really is just either home run, which he's not really even hitting that much anymore, walk, which he's not really doing that much anymore, or striking out, which he is doing a lot right now. He just really hasn't been good. I know the Nationals have been playing a bunch of different players at first base since the trade deadline, but we're going to go with Joey Gallo, and because of that, he goes in the he's starting. He's just not the same player we had hoped, seen, and dreamed. Sorry, Fuzzy. As for John Singleton, I think you could make the debate that he goes in the Ike category, and honestly, I am going to move Andrew Vaughn up as well because I think these guys are similar, and when I look at DJ LeMahieu, when I look at Joey Gallo, they're better. They're clearly better than those two. So I'm going to move them both up into the I tier. John Singleton is a basically league average hitter. He's whatever at first base. He is a stopgap for the Astros until they figure out what to do at that position because they got screwed by Jose Abreu being genuinely one of the worst contracts we've seen given out in a very long time. They just cut him and don't even want him anymore. So Singleton's filling in. He's just whatever. He's the definition of okay, sure. Doesn't make your team better. Probably doesn't make your team worse. Really forgettable at this time. Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor has fallen off a little bit. He's cooled off since the beginning of the year where he was smoking hot, but I think Josh Naylor is an all-star caliber first baseman. We're going to see him set career highs this year across the board, close to 30 home runs already in September, an OPS around 800, good first baseman, great pop in that bat. He's not hitting for average this year, but he has in the past. He gets on base. He does a lot of things you like out of a good player, and he's got pop in that bat, which Cleveland desperately needs. He is a good middle-of-the-order bat for them. It works in that stadium with that jet stream. Josh Naylor's a really good player. I think he's another dude who's super underrated, again, because of where he plays, that being Cleveland. So for those reasons, I am going to put him in the all-star tier. I do think he is better than the guys below him and worse than the guys above him. I'd like to know what you think about Josh Naylor. As for Justin Turner, his OPS numbers are similar to the guys in the good baseball man tier, but he's getting older and he just doesn't have almost any pop left in that bat. So I'm going to put him in the I tier. I just don't want my first baseman to be a somewhat high average guy, which is not even really what he is anymore. He's hitting 250, but a somewhat high average guy with not a lot of pop who's not that mobile at the position. He's just not the same player. He's 38, 39 years old right now at the time of recording. He had a great career. It's just not the same Justin Turner we once saw, so I really can't put him any much higher than I. He's fine. Middle of the pack, maybe below average. Lamont Wade is super confusing. OPS plus wise, he's great, but he has little to no pop in that bat, only 5 home runs. He does get on base like crazy, though. He's got an on-base percentage at .394, which is phenomenal. I basically think of him as a slightly different version of Carl Santana, younger. It doesn't feel right, again, because an almost 400 on-base percentage is incredible. Like, he gets his job done, but I think in the grand scheme of players, I think if he wasn't leading off for the Giants like he has been, if he wasn't in the role that he's needed, I don't know if he'd be this kind of player. I think he's good. I think he's a good first baseman, but I just can't have someone with 5 home runs and 14 doubles in 97 games be in the all-star tier, even though his OPS plus is similar to the guys in the all-star tier. This is where my love for the counting numbers and understanding of what's going on in analytics kind of mash heads sometimes. Analytics numbers would say all-star caliber based on my rankings. Stats would say probably I. To me, that puts him right in the middle. Now, I know Matt Olson is having a down year this season. It's not great. His average is down, the power is down, the OPS is kind of right around league average, which is concerning, but he was so bad to start the year. I just can't forget what he did the past 3-4 seasons. Matt Olson, to me, is still an elite first baseman in Major League Baseball. He's not one of the number 1 guys. He's probably in that 4 to 5 range, but I still think in terms of first baseman that I would choose right now that are elite, I think Matt Olson's there because he does play good defense at first. He does have an elite bat. He has that elite power. Sometimes you just have down years, and it feels like that's what's going on for Matt Olson because everybody on the Braves, besides Marcell Ozuna, is having a down year. They're human. They're welcome to. He's done too much in the past to make me drop him down from elite just yet because this is really the first season in a minute that we've seen him slow down. As for Michael Busch, perfect in the good baseball man tier. He has the ability, I think, to get even better. What we've seen from him in this first season with the Chicago Cubs is super encouraging. Good pop in that bat, good barrel rates, plays first base pretty well. He's got the ability to get on base. He hits all types of pitching. Like, I like Michael Busch. I think he's a really solid player. Again, not someone I want hitting 3rd or 4th in my lineup, but as the 4th or 5th option in the line, maybe hitting 6th, maybe hitting 5th even, maybe hitting 2nd if you're getting crazy and you want to do like a weird hit my decent guy who gets on base 2nd. I just don't want him hitting 3-4 right now, which is what it feels like he's doing with the Cubs a lot of the times. He's still very good though. Put him right in that middle of the pack with all the other pretty good first basemen. Again, this position is pretty loaded because all you really have to do is hit, and he definitely does. I have no idea what to do with Michael Toglia because he's a home run, single, walk, strikeout guy. He's a 4 true outcomes. He's like literally not doing anything else besides hitting home runs and walking and striking out pretty much. I think for now, I think he is better than basically all the guys in IT, but I don't think he's at the same level as the guys in Good Baseball Man tier, even though he has the pop. Like the pop is crazy. He's got insane pop in that bat. Always has, always will. I'm just concerned about him moving forward, what his game is going to look like. It's not something that to me feels conducive of repeatable. I don't know. Michael Toglia is going to go in IT. I think Coors plays into it a little bit too. I'd love to see just a little bit more of him before I can truly plant my flag on where I stand, because he really is floating between the Good Baseball Man and IT tiers. Nathaniel Lowe, another just boring good baseball man. You're going to get 15 to 20 home runs a year out of him. You're going to get 80 to 100 RBI. You're going to get 25 to 30 doubles. You're going to get a 260, 270 average, 340, 350 on base, 750, close to 800 OPS. Like he is just a really solid baseball player. Fit really well in that Rangers lineup last year when they were mashing, when you had Simeon and Adolis and Evan Carter and Corey Seager and all those guys were clicking. Nathaniel Lowe is a great next option, but when things are struggling, when things are not going well, he doesn't really lift this team up like you would hope. So for me, good baseball man tier, but still a great player. Love Nathaniel Lowe on all my fantasy teams. Nolan Shanuel is just, again, like he's hitting for more power, which is good. Those are encouraging signs. The average is going down, the power is going up. Things that I've wanted to see out of Nolan Shanuel, because he has the ability to be a guy who I think could have some power. He's huge. He's what, 6'4", 220 pounds. He is a big boy, but in the past, he's really prioritized putting the ball in play rather than hitting the ball for any sort of oomph. This year, you're seeing him strike out a little bit more, seeing him walk a little bit more, seeing him hit for a little more power. Those are all encouraging signs. Yes, the average is down to 250. Don't care. He has a 340 on base. That's great, but he's still not hitting enough power to make him anything else than just like whatever league level replacement player. Oh, what do I do with Paul Goldschmidt? It's now like a full season sample going from the second half of last year till now, where Paul Goldschmidt is just not the same Paul Goldschmidt. I know he won an MVP a couple years ago, and this is going against what I said with Matt Olson, but younger guy, different player. We haven't seen the drop-off that we have seen from Paul Goldschmidt. He's got to go in the IT tier. He's just not a player that you can really count on every single day. He is not a middle-of-the-order guy anymore. He is not a leader offensively for this team. He is not going to be the next couple years unless you put him in a hitter-friendly park, hit him at DH. Maybe he's the Astros first baseman next year when he hits the free agent market. Who knows? But to me, Goldschmidt, it's finally starting to come to an end. When you see the power numbers and everything like that drop, especially for a guy who's been so consistent for his entire career, been amazing, this kind of drop off as drastically and quickly as it's happened has terrified me, and I just can't put him any higher than I. While I am disappointed in Pete Alonso's play this year, I want more power out of him. I don't want him to be a singles hitter like he seems to want to be for some reason, obsessed with average. Pete is still in the all-star tier. Now, again, I don't think he's one of the 5 first basemen in the league. I think he's in that 6 to 8, maybe even 9 range if you're ranking guys on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're ranking the top 10, I think he's there. But he still has some of the best power in the league. I mean, he's going to have a down year and he might still hit 40 home runs, which is pretty impressive. OPS in the 800s, he is god-awful defensively. Like, wow, he's so bad at first base. It's really, really bad. But one thing that I don't think gets counted is how good he is on scoops. And to be fair, I watch him more than anybody, so I'm going to notice this more than any other first baseman. Here's my Mets bias. It is physically because I see Pete Alonso scooping the ball more than others. I think he might have some of the best scoops in the league. The rest of his defense is terrible, and at the plate, still good, just not what I want out of him. I want more home runs, but he is definitely in the all-star tier for sure still. Ooh, Rhys Hoskins. Ooh, sorry. Put him in the IT tier. I started off the year super hot. He was incredible against the Mets, and that's basically been it. He's been a below league average hitter this year, coming back from a major injury. I understand that. I actually do think he's a pretty decent player, and I think you will see him bounce back next season, but when you give me the chance to rank Rhys Hoskins lower than I actually truly believe his ceiling is, I will do that. He is not playing well this year. He's been a negative WAR player. He has hurt the Milwaukee Brewers, which sounds crazy because they're having such a good year, but it's not because of Rhys Hoskins. So he might have had his fun at the beginning of the year, and we're probably going to play him in the playoffs. If the Mets end up making it, we're going to match up with the Brewers. That's my nightmare. But yeah, he's going in the IT tier. He's just been completely whatever at first base this year. They're not even really playing him every day. And I love to slander him. Gotta do it. As for Rowdy Tellez, I'll be honest, I see the numbers. They're saying he's about a league average hitter. He's basically worth no WAR this year. He's starting where he belongs. belongs. Rowdy Tellez is only starting essentially because the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup is just so weak top to bottom. There's a lot of holes in it, and Rowdy is one of them. He's just not very good. He hits the ball hard, not as hard as he used to. Used to be a major barrel king. Now it's just a little bit of a barrel king. I don't think he is an everyday player. I think he is a platoon guy that you hope to juice a little bit extra out of by keeping him away from lefties. He's Rowdy Tellez. He's so forgettable. Sorry, Rowdy. He seems like a really nice guy. You don't want him playing every single day if you're a winning baseball team. You probably aren't a winning baseball team if he's playing every single day. Ryan Mountcastle hurt, but just gets screwed by Baltimore, of course, because they moved left field back 150 feet. It's insane. But he's a good baseball player, above average hitter at the plate. If you get him out of Baltimore, I think you could see him have an all-star year here or there based on how hot he is to start the season. Hits the ball hard still, good bat to ball skills, gets on base at a decent rate, hits for a decent average, decent pop, like all the makings of all the other guys in good baseball man tier as just good at a bunch of things. Nothing elite, but good at a lot. And Ryan O'Hearn goes there too. It's the platoon. You put O'Hearn in against the righties, you put Mountcastle in against some of the lefties and righties. They're both very, very good hitters. O'Hearn, of course, in Baltimore, gets the bonus of that short porch in right field, gets the bonus of that right center field gap that isn't very far, gets the bonus of just being a very good hitter as well. He's a dude who had some prospect pedigree. I believe he was a first-round pick, Ryan O'Hearn. Lied. 8th-round pick. I'm sorry, Sam Houston State. Got him mixed up with somebody else. Don't know who I got him mixed up with. I think it's just the fact that the Orioles have a bunch of dudes that all look the same. They all end up becoming the same thing in my mind. Ryan O'Hearn's very good. Next up, we've got Seth Brown. Seth Brown is the definition of again, playing in Oakland. He's about a league average player. There's really not much to talk about with Seth Brown. He gets on base. That's pretty much his thing with a little bit of pop. Don't think he would start on many teams, but I do think he's a major league player. It's confusing to explain guys like him just because they're so whatever, and honestly, not even really that important in my opinion. That felt personal. Don't like how I said that. Just doesn't move the needle on almost anything. That's more where I stand with Seth Brown. Now, Spencer Torkelson's an interesting one because he started the year terribly, came back up, has been on a tear, has been awesome. He finished the year fantastic last year. Like, he has the #1 overall pick hype around him because he was the #1 overall pick. I gotta put him in 8th though for right now. I don't think he's in the he's starting because he still has the ability. He's still so young to be a great first baseman. I think it's somewhere in there. We've seen glimpses. We've seen sparks of it. Torkelson could be so good, but right now, he's just a whatever player at first base. He is replaceable. Tristan Casas going in the all-star tier. He's amazing. I wish we didn't have to see him get hurt this year because I would have loved to seen a full, healthy season of Tristan Casas. We saw some last year. It was fantastic, the numbers he's put up. Elite plate discipline, really good pop in that bat, good first baseman. All things you like to see from a cornerstone of this franchise, and Casas is definitely that. He swung so hard he broke his ribs. It was as if he got hit by a car. That's what the doctor said. Tristan Casas is a stud. Hope the Red Sox fans treat him well because he's really, really good. He's a talented player. For sure, all-star tier. Ty France. Ty France was good, but he's fallen off. He's going in he's starting again. The Reds are in a weird situation with injuries and where that team's at and what's going on. It's totally whatever. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on Ty France, but I'm just done with this guy now. He's completely whatever. Vinny Pasquantino just got hurt. The Royals could use him because he was starting to heat up a little bit, getting some big hits for them. I think he's a good baseball man tier. I think we got a little bit aggressive with him in the past because of the small sample we saw, the crazy good numbers that we got out of him. He's still very, very good, but there is some growth left in that game for him to get to that next tier. The plate discipline is great. He's obviously a good first baseman, just a little bit more pop, a little more consistency with that bat, and you can see Vinny Pasquantino jump up to that next tier. Not there yet, though, with a 109 OPS plus this season. Vlad Jr., officially back in the elite tier. Vladdy is so good. I don't know what happened, but when this guy shaved his head, when he lost weight, whenever he makes changes to his looks and his appearance, Vlad Jr. starts to ball out, and as soon as he cut his hair, Vlad Jr. has been insane. His numbers this year, so good. Do you guys know how good his numbers have been? I feel like it's kind of quiet because the Blue Jays have stunk, but on the season, Vladdy's got 27 homers, 38 doubles, 89 RBIs, a 324 average, 397 on base, 554 slugging, 952 OPS for an OPS plus at 168. He's in the conversation as one of the best first basemen, if not the best first baseman in all of Major League Baseball. Vlad Jr. is here. He's good. Stop the conversations. The Blue Jays need to sign him to a lifetime contract. He's disgusting. And then we've got Yandy Diaz. And this one, the last 2 years have been so good. This year, not so much. And I don't know if his numbers that we saw those prior 2 years are truly sustainable because he still doesn't really hit the ball in the air. If he ever does, he will be one of the best first basemen in all of baseball. There's no doubt with how hard he hits the ball and because he gets on base and he doesn't strike out. But he was slow to start this year. It seems like ever since Randy's gone, he's been a little bit better. They might have had some weird beef. There's some rumors I saw on Twitter that maybe those guys didn't get along. I don't know. I think I'm just going to throw him at the top of good baseball man tier. Again, it doesn't really matter where I place them, but I want it to be known that he is exactly on the middle of all-star, good baseball man, but I kind of like how these things worked out. 4 elite first basemen, 4 all-stars, a bunch in the good baseball man tier, a bunch in I, and then a few guys who you're like, he's starting. I'm surprised. I'd love to know what you guys think about my tier list down in the comment section below. Who'd I get right? Who'd I get wrong? Roast me. Go for it. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. And that's where I'll wrap up today's video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all for another video.